afternoon, good evening from whatever part of the world you're watching me from. Welcome to Pan-African Media Television and welcome to Well in Print. I am FRIDA EGBESON bringing you today's edition of Well in Print, where we go through a journey of news headlines as reported by newspapers around the globe. On today's edition of the paper, as the pages, we go through News World's pages to bring you headlines and insight and perspective shaping our global community. Today, July 7th, we take you across continents, inspiring the stories that matter, from shifting economic landscapes to pressing security concerns and the inspiring stories of resilience and innovation that continue to shape our world. As always, we will highlight how these global headlines connect with the African reality and what they mean for you. So stay with us from now till 12 p.m. as we journey through the world's print, ensuring you stay informed, engaged, and connected to conversations shaping our time. Right after the review, I will be joined on site by NFORMI FONKA Samuel as we analyze some of the eye-catching headlines in great depth to help you better understand the stories behind the news. Stay tuned, we shall be right back just after the transition.
Pan-African Media pour une Afrique souveraine et unie.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, you are live on Well in Print, and our first flight is taking us to the United States of America with Houston Star Chronicles newspaper. Our first up this morning is in the United States of America with Houston Times newspaper carrying as major caption: death toll hits 43. Officials say floods were unpredicted, but experts says report that ample warnings have been given. While the Washington Post headlines: fatal flooding leaves Texas in anguish, dozens are dead, many more feared. The New York Times captions: dozens dead in Texas, search goes on. Away from the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, we move over to the United Kingdom with Financial Times newspaper captioning: China reroutes exports via Southeast Asia in bid to skid Trump's tariff war. While the Independent newspaper headlines this morning: drugs crisis in prisons worse than ever. Away from the Independent Times, we move to the Guardian on its part carrying as caption: new battle for number 10 as MPs raise alarm on special needs provision. From the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, we move over to Nigeria with the Punch newspaper carrying as major caption: 10 states borrow 147 billion naira despite higher allocations. While Daily Trust carries, Obi insists on 2027 contest as Atiku hints on running. These daily headline captions: 2027 elections, prepare for 2031 presidency, tells opposition coalition. From this daily, from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we fly over to neighboring Republic of Cameroon, starting with the Guardian Post newspaper on today's edition carrying as caption: presidential reconstruction. The Guardian Post this morning carries as new headline carrying major caption: presidential reconstruction. Prime Minister Dr. Joseph John Gute salutes steady progress in Northwest, announces enormous and imminent rehabilitation of roads in Bamenda. While another story on the same paper captions: state roads in Bamenda. Visiting Minister Nalova Lyonga says completely shocked, warns against making promises that can't be fulfilled. Cameroon Insider on today's edition captions: Prime Minister reaffirms government's vow to fully rehabilitate the Northwest region. while municipal update still stands on the same event that has taken place in the past 3 days in the Northwest region with major caption during official visit to Bamenda, Prime Minister salutes reconstruction development in Northwest. This is how we saw it on today's publication of news headlines. Dear viewers, don't go away, for we shall be right back with an in-depth analysis on the major captions just after the transition. So don't go away.
Pan-African Media pour une Afrique souveraine et unie.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, you're live on Pan-African Media TV, and the program on air is Well in Print. Well in Print is a bi-weekly program where we scout on news headlines as reported by newspapers around the globe, bringing you in-depth analysis, reports, and of course storytelling, investigation stories about what is making news around the globe to help you be on the same page with what is making news and shaping the world we are living in. I am not alone in the house. Like in every edition, we have a guest for each edition that joins us in the in-depth analysis of the most catchy headlines in the papers. Today we are honored to have in the house NFORMI FONKA Samuel, who is the General President of the ISCC. Mr. FORMI Samuel, you're welcome.
Good morning, Madam EGBESON,
Good morning.
FRIDA, and our televiewers. We are here today to iron out what has been going on throughout the world, and it is mentioned that when you are on this program, it is as if knowing the world in just 1 hour. But of course, we started late, but we are sure to give you the best because we have the best to share with you.
So please tell me, how has your weekend been?
The weekend has witnessed a lot of changes in Cameroon, and according to the political sphere of this nation, we have been believing in maturity, but we still see some lapses. Though we have 65 years in the nation building, we see that some people have decided to be sidelining or be making shift blames to make others look as if without them the state cannot keep moving. We see a lot of shift blames. One is in the government, and immediately you step out, you begin to blame, of which you are given a post of responsibility to take the nation ahead. We look up to people, and we see Arena ISCC who was just resigned, moving left and right. He was in Douala with Nise Ekane and many other people that are talking political issues. The question now comes, are you planning to fail or you are planning to win? Because after giving you a post of responsibility of which you would have done innovations, you never did for over 2 decades and others more than that, and you are now trying to lobby other people and bring in as a candidate. We see how pretending Cameroonians are, because at least when you are given a post, they give you everything at your disposal, and if there are some lapses, you tell the person that gave you the post that, okay, I need these things at my disposal so that I can do my work to perfection. You don't live in pretense for more than 2 decades and come out and be making noise that you can change the way of leadership in Cameroon. And the visit of the PM and his delegation. Okay, so we shall be coming back. I think the weekend was full of things that we are going to discuss.
All right, like what I know in life, they say change is the only constant thing in life.
Yes.
That's talking about your minister, ISCC, who was the former Minister of Communication for Cameroon, and was later they say sent to employment and vocational training, who recently we got news that he resigned from government. You know, change is the only constant thing in life. Maybe he realized his lapses, he realized that he has failed somewhere, and in politics there are no true friends and there are no true enemies, so you can never tell. So for the moment, I don't think we should be judging his actions. We just have to wait and see. We are watching. It's going to be an eventful October for Cameroonians, and we pray so.
Change is brewing.
Yeah, so we are diving straight into analysis for today, ladies and gentlemen. We started with the United States of America, and our first newspaper is still going to be a paper from the United States of America, which is going to be the Houston Star Chronicles newspaper. This morning, Houston Star Chronicles newspaper is talking about the death. Like you all know, what happened in the U.S. over the weekend. They say Houston Star carries a major caption: death toll hits 43. Officials say floods were unpredicted, but experts report ample worries. Now, Mr. For me, you know what has happened. If this is as at yesterday, 43 people already dead, and many are feared to have died. You see that the 3 newspapers from the US are talking about this incident. Do you think that we in Africa, we cry a lot? At times, there are some things that we think even the developed countries cannot be able to master as at what time they're going to happen, like the shock that they got in the US at Houston.
Just of recent, we've been fighting seriously to talk about the climate change, and which is unstoppable. You know, these are the type of natural disasters that we should be working towards it and doing innovations to see that we can see what can do, but we cannot do it to excellence, you know, because nature is nature. They don't cheat nature, and we know that it is just because of the way the United States of America have been working hard to, or else the thing would have been so worse. You know, United States of America is known for their expertise, and they do so well. And if it comes to the fact that they have taught this death rate, this death rate that is 43, and others are still in danger, shows that it was not really, it was too bad. You know, and actually, these are the type of things that human race should be fighting. But when you see at times they go and be causing crisis, I say we already have natural crisis like this. We focus on natural crisis and see how we can do everything to manage the natural crisis. But when it comes to the fact that we live, instead of targeting natural crisis, we go on making man-made crisis. That is where I have problems with the world. But this, I think I will salute the technocrats of America, because if they were not taking measures, it would have been more worse than what we are seeing. So I salute them. I say that is the spirit, the teamwork, and the spirit we want from them, and that the technocrats should take control of the world. And if they really take control of the world, we shall have less natural disaster as what we have today.
Yes, what I want us to look at, you know, here they're saying officials, that's the U.S. government officials, say that the floods were unpredictable, while experts warns that ample warnings were given. Do you think the officials are trying to do a blame game, or trying to keep themselves out of the whole scene, to be accused? Should anyone be accused for a natural disaster? Why should they struggle to push themselves that it was unpredictable when experts themselves said they have given several warnings?
It is that, you know, that's what we see. Poor governance at times is not good, because some people, when you have powers, you tend to be deaf. They don't listen to others, of which if they listen to this engineer or the technocrats, yes, he wouldn't have been to this level. You see, they think that immediately you are on seat, you know everything. No, give a listening ear and try to work hand in gloves with people that come to you. And it is not all advice that you take, but something that concerns lives of people. Even if it is to evacuate all those people that are living there, the U.S. would have taken measures to evacuate the people before the natural disasters come. I'm just pleading to those, the team of experts, or the Department of managing climate change in America and managing disaster, that they should be open. They should not feel that being there is that they know everything. They cannot take all the Americans and put or all the technocrats in America and put into that team. They have a number of people that manage it. So if other people are bringing their expertise and sharing with you for nothing, it's good to take it and save the people, because it is not good to lose lives like that. Not losing for 3 lives already and others are still in danger is not good at all. So we should know that since we cannot create a human being, we should take care of what God has given us.
All right, we are leaving the United States of America now to dive to the United Kingdom with a Financial Times newspaper, which was the first newspaper we reviewed from the UK. Financial Times newspaper is carrying this morning as caption. They say China reroutes exports via Southeast Asia in a bid to skid Trump's tariff war. Now, they are talking about, lately, President Donald Trump of the United States of America has done nothing but increase taxes for imports entering into the United States. And now, countries have decided to use different means like operate. They think it pushes them to think out of the box to see that, okay, we can pass through this way, we can pass this way, which is going to have a negative impact on the economy of the U.S. So, do you think what the Chinese are doing or what China is doing now is something good to do, or they should stick to pay the tariffs that President Donald Trump imposed on imported goods?
We have been promoting they should not hold to what Donald Trump is saying. So let me explain. Right. We have been holding to the values of globalization, and he or she who talks about globalization is talking about meeting others around the world. And if anybody thinks that he has the key, I think this is a strong message to Donald Trump to know that he doesn't have the key of the world, and that globalization is real, and people are doing innovations all the time to meet other countries around the world, as the Chinese have just shown a good example. And doing it is portraying to the world that any country is not an island. If you are open to people and you are open to the world, you learn every blessed day, and you come out with strategies of leading the world. And let me tell you, there is what we call marketing fight, that is crisis, marketing crisis in the world, that, and the strategies are being changed every day. When they see a leading voice in business, they will try to block it. And I think for now, the Chinese are sending a strong message around the world. So by the Donald Trump coming up with such a strategy, he himself was planning to fail, and the Chinese has shown it clearly.
That there's another way.
Yes, there's another way of doing things better. They cannot just block us and we keep on waiting until you say a word that we should push forward. We push forward. When you block here, we find other ways of going around and doing business with people. Or they cannot inflate
taxes and you expect us
to
not at all. End.
Not at all. You are inflating taxes.
Still talking about the increments of this taxation, the tariffs plan of Donald Trump. Even Americans out of America have decried it. I keep having a mail, Americans in the diaspora are decrying it because they say it's going to, stifle relationships between US and other countries. And this, what China is doing now, is just an evidence. One is just it suffices for one person to start, then others to follow. You pray that President Donald Trump is going to learn his lessons.
Donald Trump should be very careful because his days are being marked.
Yes, so we are going now to the Independent newspaper. Independent newspaper this morning is talking about drug crisis in prisons worse than ever. It's something we've decried. Even in Cameroon, we've talked about the issue of drug addiction, sales of drugs in prison. At times, you apprehend the child for stealing maybe a pair of slippers in the neighborhood, then you take the child to a new bail. Then the child gets worse because you take them for correction, but some of them come back worse than ever, and they are decrying it now in the United Kingdom. What do you think? How do you think some of these drugs even get into these prison cells?
Thank you so much, Madam Frida. Televiewers, we are living in a world of interest, and that is what people are really doing, and killing the system or killing any government in place that is put to work for the benefits of all. And this is why you see that no matter what they are doing, people still have drugs in offices, in the prison. It comes from those visiting the prisons. At times, the prison pretenders, the prison people, the guards that are working at the prison, they do transactions. And this comes when the salary is not good. With the salary, if people have good salaries, this type of dirty business they will not be doing.
You know, some people agree that even with good salaries, they still.
Of course, you have a point. You have a point.
Yes.
So what I'm saying here is that enough measures should be taken. If a child does anything in the quarter and that needs correction, centers for corrective measures should be taken, should be constructed aside. That these centers are for corrective measures, where trauma counselors, where people they preach the word of God, where they use principles of education, civic education is intensified there, so that it's not everybody that should be taken to the prison yard, because some people don't do things out of ignorance. By being in a center, in a created center where civic education is being intensified, these centers should be constructed in even all the councils, all the regions, so that it be made available for everybody, that even so you have a problem, you can go there for counseling and it will help. Because at times when they take children to the prison, they become drug addicts, as you just mentioned. So I'm just pleading that what is happening as the drugs crisis in prisons is getting worse. Measures should be taken. People of integrity should be sent there, even though they are not of the core. They should be sent there. They should take good control of what is happening in the prison at all.
Check
Check
those who are infiltrating.
Yes, so those who are infiltrating, and even go to the source. There's one thing with drugs. We keep saying and singing drugs every day. All these people know the sources of drugs. Why is it why is it that you are not going to the source of the drugs? Go to the source. If water is flowing, you don't go where the tap is. The water will keep flowing.
You go to the source.
Yes, keep cleaning. As you are cleaning around. The other time was that there was a drug seller in Kumba where they went, harassed him, they bent his things, and he went out. They drove him from the quarter in the Hausa quarter. And drugs are still going on in Kumba. I'm saying Kumba town in the southwest region of Cameroon and other nations around the world. So what I'm saying that to fight drugs, let measures be taken and they go to the source of the drugs, and the drugs will get reduced and will no more be worse in the prisons and everywhere around the world.
All right, let's move to Nigeria with the Punch newspaper. The first newspaper we did today on the review, that's for the federal government.
Nigeria.
The Punch newspaper, thank you. The Punch newspaper this morning has carried as headline, they say 10 states borrow 147 billion naira despite higher allocations. You know, when the states, you know, in Nigeria, they live in states, like in Cameroon, you have the regions. Despite the high interest rate, 10 states will unite to borrow
417 billion naira.
147
okay. Yes.
billion nairas.
Yes.
Do you think this amount of borrowing, because mostly this borrowing comes from out of the country, from other countries, the country we think are able to help us, do you think some of these things are things that are really good for our African economies? Is it really not going to be something that will weigh in the long run, is going to weigh on the economy?
Borrowing, first of all, is a killer to development. You know, the state borrow, and it's a great risk, as you said it. It plays a very bad role to the development of any nation, because the interest at times become too high and you are forced to borrow because you don't have. Nigeria will regret some things, because during the time of His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, they were the leading voice in everything in economy in Africa. You know, due to some type of political changes or things, he lost the elections, and we are seeing the consequences. We are not saying that a president should be on the seat for life, but if he had a second mandate, he would have made a good foundation for Nigeria to stay hitch-free from borrowing money. And that is something Nigerians should know as well, that even African countries should know that when a president is there and working for the interest of the people, you at least you maintain him. maintain him, give him some mandate so that he can work and put the economy of the people, the interest of the people to higher heights. We shall also live to regret the absence of Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi, who tried to centralize everything in Africa, that Africa should be the boss of themselves. Yes, self-sufficiency. And he was not being supported by some African leaders who never wanted to be governors. And up till that, African unity is still on the table for debate. Nigeria, at this juncture, is going through a lot. At this juncture, you know, people are crying loudly, but Tinubu is not listening. Meaning he is not having economists at his side, by him. Because if he has economists by him, or that are sitting next to him, I think this is the best time to show their expertise and bring out what they really know so that the state can benefit from it. But last time as we were here, we talked of his buying aeroplanes, and he was trying to buy another one, you know, not looking into the economy of the nation. That's why you see 10 states borrowing, of which the central government would have removed money sent to those states to boost their needs. But they go into personal use and personal luxuries. They prefer that more than that the general good of the people. Those are the type of leaders that in Africa we don't want them, and we want those who have vision, those who can see that it's prepare the nation for the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, why not 100 years or 1,000 years? Technology has come today that we can prepare the world even for the unborn. For the yet to be unborn generation, we prepare them right now. And ISCC is working on that. We can prepare Cameroon for the next 1,000 years, and Cameroon will not have any problem. But they say we are a private identity. We cannot institute, but we shall change Cameroon. It is not political party that will change Cameroon, and it is not political parties that change nations. Most change come from associations, organizations, that give the change, draw the formula, give to the state, and they benefit from this. And we are pleading that Cameroon and the rest of African nations should benefit from our expertise, because we share it to you, you do it. If you can appreciate us, you appreciate. We are ready to share our expertise for nothing, because we need technocrats, put economists, put people at the right places, and wait for the results.
Wait for the results. Okay, we are moving to Daily Trust newspaper, still in Nigeria. The second paper we reviewed when we're in Nigeria. Daily Trust this morning carries Obi insists on 2027 contest as Atiku insists at running. You see, Daily Trust, the Nigerians apparently seem to be already mobilizing ahead of the 2027 presidential elections. And when we talk of Obi and Atiku, we are talking about opposition leaders who are some kind of trying to work out a coalition. But now there is a problem somewhere. Obi wants to be the head, which is the president. Atiku wants to be president, like you pronounce yourself.
Yes.
Now it comes to a question that I want to ask you.
Yes.
When Africa and the issue of opposition political party not being able to come to a compromise has been like a cankerworm eating African political scene, and of course the opposition in Africa. Do you think this will be able to work a compromise, or if not, do you think they're at risk? Because when opposition begins to fight themselves, it's like they say failing to plan is planning to fail.
Exactly. Thank you, Madam EGBESON. You know what the problem we have in Africa is greediness. It is good that Atiku looks into his report cards and see that he has a dirty report card. It is an advice. He can take it or he leaves it. Looking to what he has given Nigeria as of now, it is not positive. So I will plead with him that he sit and let go the place and let Obi comes in, because Obi can come with some renovations and do some expertise, and Nigeria will come back. We should not look leadership only centered around the leader. Leaders should open up, look beyond leadership, because by looking beyond leadership, you can stand up from your chair and call another person to come and sit. If people will applaud, and while you are going down to sit in the quarter or sit in your house, your name will be sounding more than the person that has taken over. It is a spirit that we Africans should inculcate. We should practice it, because holding to leadership and finally you go worse, you go down and down, it is not called for. In leadership, a leader should be solving problems. You know, when you are solving problems, you make yourself a leader. And I will appreciate Nigeria because this power tussle has started earlier. Yeah. Right?
There is time for
There's time to come to the table and make compromise and agree on the way forward. And I salute them and I appreciate their gesture as far as compared to Cameroon. It is just some months before elections in Cameroon that you see noise. And I admit that the opposition political parties have to be mature enough and see and learn and go to the political bench again and learn strategies and strategize better. You know, 2 years. Nigerians are already speaking 2 years before.
Yeah, they have been taking elections.
That is something I clap for them. And
it's preparedness.
Yes, that is greatness. Nigeria, you are great, and you are still great, and we are looking up to you to take back your leadership and your greatness in Africa, in population, in economy, and many other things, so that you teach us by example. Because when they are talking of Africa, if you don't talk of Nigeria, you are not talking of us. You are not talking of African continent, and we respect Nigeria very well, and we should respect the leader that is leading Nigeria. The leadership of Nigeria should be that of the people and not be that of someone's property. So I still hit on this. Let Atiku see beyond leadership and work as a team, because working as a team, he will still remain a great man.
All right, thank you. We are still in Nigeria because today Nigeria apparently has catching headlines, because we deliberate on catchy headlines after the review. So we are taking the last newspaper that we reviewed in Nigeria, which is This Day. Okay, This Day headlines: forget 2027 elections, prepare for 2031. Presidency tells opposition coalition. Can you abide to this? That's the presidency, like telling opposition coalition. You know, all this fight, Atiku, Obi, all of them who are struggling like to, okay, we are going to vie for 2027. The presidency is trying to shut them up. People should forget about it. Prepare for 2021, because we are not giving it out in 2027. What do you think about such coming from the government, from the regime of a country?
It's all that normal. In politics, it is very normal, because in politics, there is some strategies we call political manipulation, and if you can manipulate like that and win, you have won. Yes.
Which means the African syndrome of
sit
tight, hanging on to power. Even if you've seen that you failed woefully, you failed the people, it's still operational in most of African countries, because this Nigeria means they are very sure, by hook or by crook, they are sure that they will still be, Tinubu will still lead Nigeria as in 2027.
Yes, Mama FRIDA. The African system is still in our marrows. Some leaders are still having it in the marrows. So it is something that they need civic education. No matter that they are president, they need civic education to tell them that leadership is not for self, it's for delivering services and delivering the goals, making achievements. When you turn leadership for self, you will be holding to leadership as they keep holding. When you don't deliver results, and let another person comes in and he or she will deliver results. It is a very poor mentality that some African leaders are still holding up to. when you keep holding to leadership, to power, and the power finally comes out, you see that your integrity, everything that goes around you, it becomes bad. I should advise African leaders that they should learn to leave the arena of leadership before that arena leaves them. And this one goes very straight even to Cameroon. As we are coming up to the presidential election, we are pleading that our leaders should see beyond leadership and give us energetic leaders. They can even come from the CPTM. They should even give an energetic leader from the CPTM to contest with other leaders, with other young leaders as well. We are not saying that we want people that to change the system of managerial system. And I think the managerial system we are waiting for in African countries everywhere.
Yes, we are still talking this day newspaper in Nigeria, where the presidency is telling opposition coalition leaders to wait for 2031 elections.
2031.
Because they are sure to still take power. Let's look at the age of Tinubu's age. Is this some kind of syndrome in Africa that the elderly who are already seated in positions cannot look beyond being at the helm and say, no, it is time for rest? Can Tinubu, if you were to be a Nigerian, will you, a Nigerian coalition opposition leader, will you accept that?
If I am among the coalition opposition leaders, I will step out, and I think then form another coalition that can listen to me, to us, and we also put our candidature. In leadership, you know, it is not given, it is taken. So that's what Tinubu is trying to do, and it is an African syndrome that it is still repeating, that Africans are sitting waiting for old people to be leading them, of which it is wrong. And we are seeing that some young leaders are doing some innovations that we should emulate. We are not emulating that, we are disrespecting our aged people. No, we are showing to them that we are capable. And there is one funny thing I will add here, is that the youth should stop fighting themselves, because there is infighting between the youths, and the youths have more than 70% of population in Africa.
Yes, and with the infighting,
with the infighting,
vulnerable.
Yes, with the infighting, it makes it in a tie that a youth cannot, when a youth stands in leadership, you see that it is the youth that prefer to fight that youth and give their vote to the old man. Yes, they prefer giving their vote to the old person, for one, whether for vote leaking or whatsoever, but they don't see that the young man is coming up with something pushful that can change the ideology or the status quo of the nation. But they prefer keep worshipping, because they are disciples, you know, they are sticking to their disciples, and they don't want to let go of the disciple, and they keep on worshipping, hand clapping, doing all sort of things. And we are saying that when a youth is in leadership position, whether intending to or whatsoever, I'm calling on the youth. The youth should queue behind him and support him and make him be a leader. I think he will listen more, and he knows the problems of the youth.
All right, we are moving now to the Republic of Cameroon with the Guardian Post newspaper this morning. This morning on a Guardian Post, the Monday's edition captions, Presidential Reconstruction Plan, PM salute steady progress in Northwest, announces eminent rehabilitation of roads in Bamenda. While another story in that same paper says state of roads in Bamenda, visiting minister Nalova Lyonga says completely shocked, warns against making promises that can't be fulfilled. Now I want us to look at the Guardian Post and its two captions. One story is glorifying, which is the Prime Minister and Head of Government in his 3-day visit to that region, and he has seen something good. He's looking at the reconstruction plan from a positive side, while in another part somebody says no, I cannot applaud this. Is disappointed as the Minister of Secondary Education. So you are from the Northwest, you are a Cameroonian from the Northwest region,
Yes.
and you have an idea, a clue of the situation at hand. What appraisal can you make from this?
I will first of all appreciate what the government has done, the little that they have done, and I will say it is not enough. And the statement of the Prime Minister, of which I respect a lot, is our father, and the chief for that matter. He's a keen listener and act
An observer.
and act when it comes to the point.
All right.
What the Prime Minister said is good. There are a lot of things that have been done towards the reconstruction,
the reconstruction
plan of the head of state. That is going on very well, and the problem here is that the security is not there, because doing reconstruction where there's insecurity, there are security threats, it keeps on that they kidnap one, they kill this, killings and kidnappings are still going on the ground. What is going on is something to see beyond, because what Madame Nalova Lyonga, the Minister of Secondary Education, said is a point that should not be neglected, because really the ground, when you go to the ground, you think that nobody is moving there. There are bad routes, there is no light. There are areas that have met 7 years with no light, but of which we have light, and we are sending light out of Cameroon. I said 7 good years with no light. There are areas with no potable water. There are areas not accessible. There are even in Bamenda City. Bamenda City is not accessible. You see Bamenda City, you will shed tears. The government should change their method of doing things. I think by starting to give us presidential clemency on the crisis, to tell the people that those who are in the prison should be released, and those who have been kept on exile should come back to the nation. Those who are in cells should come out. It will be a great celebration, and that celebration shall even call for many positive moves, and the people shall join the government in doing reconstruction. Some areas, you saw Mactasin. Yes, took time before it was completed because of what? Security threats. Government has good plans for the people, but they use methods that are not welcome to the grassroots. They should go to the grassroots and sit with them. Sitting in Bamenda is not even enough. One of the
Minister was there now. That's sitting with them.
In Bamenda alone is not enough. So you travel and go to Womb. I'm saying Womb. When you go to Womb, my goodness, the routes are bad. Even leave from Bamenda to Ndop, then to Kumbo. It is part of this of the ring road, which in quote was constructed. But go now. It's a no-go zone. But they are already counted that the Minister of Public Works is already counting that it was constructed. But go there now, as I'm saying, it is not accessible. When they do something, they should put maintenance, the maintenance team. So Madam Nalova Lyonga, I think she just did a good thing. She repents and start saying things the way it is. And I will also say that when government officials are going out, let them have a preliminary meeting. I repeat, a preliminary meeting.
On what they will say.
On what they will say.
Why should they prepare on what they will say before they reach on the ground?
They should not be contradicting each other. When they contradict each other, we see they fight more in the government than in the city with the citizens. They are doing it to intellectuals. Intellectuals are reading them. They are not doing. We are not more in the 60s where we will be looking and only be clapping. We make analysis. And come out with the way forward. As I'm saying, anytime, I'm not only saying only the delegation of the Prime Minister. Anytime that the government officials are going out, they should have a preliminary meeting and choose that on this topic you are the one to talk, on this one though you are the one to, it forms a team, because you are going to meet a team, you are going to meet intellectuals, so that they should not, when you go and be contradicting yourselves in the presence of, in the same meeting, imagine there are two versions. Are they working? Are they really working together? You see that they come from two different countries. Are they in Cameroon? That's the question. So they should have preliminary meetings. You say, okay, on this topic, or even there is a surprise thing, the Prime Minister should be the one to answer. Not any other body say a word. The Prime Minister take the charge, because if it is bad, it is the Prime Minister. He's the head of the government. And if it is good, they will appreciate him. And as it is bad, the complaints goes to him. And we are holding to him again, because in his delegation, if there is something in his delegation that goes bad, Prime Minister, you pay the price. And if there's something in the delegation that goes good, Prime Minister, we applaud. So we are still calling on the government that the strategies put in place are not enough. And government should visit other areas out of the regional capital and see what the people are going through. There is trauma, and the killings are still going on. So calling for dialogue is not something that the government should be afraid of. It's a way of doing innovations and putting in, and the dialogue should not be for all Anglophones, as I've studied, because as I've been going around and getting information and working with the people on ground, it is said that we have been told, and I think I took to what I have been advised to pass to the people, that if Anglophones wants to have all Anglophones General Conference, it should be in two different regions. That is, Northwest should have their own all Anglophone regions and invite some elites from the Southwest. When they finish, Southwest should have their own all Anglophones General Conference, then invite some elites from the Northwest. And I see this as a crystal truth, a gospel truth, because if at all, as our ideology started with it, that all Anglophones should have their all Anglophones General Conference, that's Northwest and Southwest should come together and sit with the government officials and other international bodies and talk about what is happening. With the time given, and I like it that with the time given, we are doing innovations and getting the right thing on ground. Because if all of them come together and sit like that, the matter of Southern Cameroons will raise to the level that it can escalate. But to stop the escalation, we should hold the meetings in separate regions.
All right, that takes me to another question. Now we're talking reconstruction. You know, we are barely 2 months to presidential elections in Cameroon. People shall be going to the polls to vote the next president of the country. And don't you think this idea of revisiting regions and taking the bull by the horn to visit the Northwest and to evaluate the presidential reconstruction plan is just another form of campaign by the ruling CPDM to show that they are doing something, and of course to take the opportunity to make other promises that will also make people decide to say, okay, no, they have promised this, we stick to them. Don't you think that's a political agenda behind this?
You are very it is what you are saying is true, and I will tell that political strategy is wrong. It's very, very wrong. A good political strategy for CPDM now, it's not like I'm making adverts for CPDM. It's not like I'm their campaign manager or whatsoever. But I just want to open it to our people that when they still have the powers to change the nation before October 2025 elections. The good strategy for them now, because they are in ruling, they are ruling the nation. A good strategy is that they should, the president that is the father of democracy, President Paul Biya, should make a presidential clemency. Presidential clemency will make people to forget the scars, make people to forget the challenges, will make people to forget what we have gone through, make people to forget even their loved one that they lost, will make people to forget the change, the sufferings they have gone through. If there is a presidential clemency now, as I'm speaking, it needs only 1 minute. Cameroonians are begging you, Papa, our father, we are begging and kneeling, touching our mother, Mama Chantal Bia, that Mama, speak to the ear of our father. Presidential clemency will change Cameroon as of now. And as you people are seeing the dangers that are happening within the CPDM political parties, many people are resigning. I have a list that I've just come. I cannot be reading the list here. A good list of from the CPDM. They are resigning. It is not a good sign. It is better the president should come out from where he is and say things the way it is, to subtle to cool the minds of people. People are suffering. Imagine that savon in some areas is 700 francs. It's 800 francs. You are not even seeing it, because they say the vehicle that went and to bring the savon by a certain merchant in a certain area is blocked in mud on the roadside. They go with diggers and they are digging to remove the vehicle from there, so that they can bring medicines, even they can bring savon, they can bring oil, they can bring this, because the roads are bad. And some, they don't put fish in the fridge. They don't know what is good. They don't put cool things in the fridge. So we are only pleading to the President of the Republic that a presidential clemency will celebrate you, and it will be a legacy that has never happened, and that people will celebrate and accompany you to your retirement benefits. And you will retire, you will have friends, people will visit you, our people will sing your name and celebrate you, because it is never too late to do a good thing, and it is never too late to take a good decision. Papa of democracy in Cameroon and Africa, you are a legend, and you are legendary, should be respected after, and that is the legacy we are looking at. If you can do it for us, please, Papa, this is the time.
Yes, maybe we'll be born out with. I want to ask, have you heard or seen this guy recently in the media who wants to stand? He's a CPDM young guy who says he wants to stand as candidate. Do you think normally elections, the party invests on somebody who stands as candidate, but this young guy, his name has gone off my mind, he's opting himself that he will stand as candidate, CPDM candidate?
I will call him as a noisemaker, because in reality, if you want to stand for as a presidential candidate, you start within for your party, and CPDM has very good rules. That is something I must respect them as well. You know, they are also all over the 10 regions and all over the suburbs, and 360 municipal councils, municipalities. I will advise him that change is imminent. He should start the change from within, and if he starts from within before coming out like that, all of us shall vote him as the next president of this nation, because the post is made for all Cameroonians. But when you want to start from outside before going in, I think he may not have that chance, because when he will go in, he has gone out of the rules of CPDM. All
right, let's go out with you. You were talking from the start about the resignation of some CPDM scribes, partners. You've mentioned former Minister Isachoma Bakari, and a host of others, yes, who have resigned from the CPDM, or who are trying to do things at their own. Like Belebo Maigari has said he's going to be candidate. Don't want to talk about CPDM. I want to talk about the Cameroonian opposition. You say Isachoma has been going on, and I know some work has been doing. And do you think the coalition, the opposition, still has the opportunity to have a coalition that's going to form a formidable force against the CPDM come October 2025?
Well, at times when they talk about this matter of a coalition, it doesn't enter me very well, because why is it that we are having political parties? What is that? They should align with others without making us know that. We don't need to be telling them do this. No, it's even a wrong strategy that we have many political parties in Cameroon. So what they should do, what they can do, but I think it's time for political parties to test their opposition political party. No, it is time for all political parties in Cameroon, including the CPDM, to test their powers. I'm not sidelining any party. Okay. Yes, all political parties in Cameroon should test their powers on the upcoming October 2025 presidential elections. It is after that we shall see who is capable of being a political party in Cameroon, so that they test their powers, so that they should learn to respect each other. Coalition, it's like not having enough methodologies, but coming to be begging for
it's not a matter of begging. Coalition happens everywhere.
Coalition.
If Nigeria can talk of coalition, who is
I'm
Cameroon?
talking of what is happening here.
Okay.
You know, there is a lot of agitations now.
Yeah.
We said of Nigeria 2 years before. They are already planning.
Cameroon,
but in Cameroon, they are the eve of elections. They are jokers. They are just playing with the ball. In the court, they are playing with the ball, and if a red card is given, somebody should not blame himself, because they would have started this thing long ago. They would have started long ago, 2 years ago. Or they knew very well that in 2025 there will be presidential elections.
What
were they doing? They were doing 7 years, 7 good years. They have done nothing. And even 2 years, they have done nothing. 1 year, they have done nothing. Only few months, you see them agitated. I have nothing to tell them. I have nothing to tell them.
So,
what I will tell them, as I earlier said, is that all political parties, I'm not saying opposition or what, all political parties should go in for the test of powers. Yes, go in for the competition. Then, after this, we shall make a good list of political parties in Cameroon.
All right, so you have come to the end of today's issue. So you look straight into your camera and give us your last word.
Fellow Cameroonians, my citizens, my good people, our Prime Minister, Chief John Gote, Mama Nalova Lyonga, and all the delegation that visited Northwest. We know very well that no matter what you saw there were some insights that were not even pronounced, that the killings are still on ground. It is not only in Northwest, it also is still in Southwest as well. It would be good that you pass our message to the head of state, that he should give us presidential clemency to end the crisis. And if the crisis are taken to the end, I think brothers and sisters will join the government in the reconstruction plan of the president, and we shall see that we shall have access to many opportunities. Even those in the diaspora will come back and join us in nation building, in community building, and doing good things for this nation, because all of them, even those in the bushes and those in the diaspora, they love this nation and they want to be part and parcel of nation building. It is only the strategy put in place, and some people in government who think that they may come back and take their places. No, they are coming back to join us in nation building and do many other things. And I'm calling on all people, they should go out there and register, because very soon they shall be calling for the presidential, calling for the electoral committee, and when it is called, ELECAM will no more register you. And if at all you have transferred your town, go out there and see the ELECAM office in where you lastly vote. Then they will make you a transfer of polling station. Then you will now have a new polling station that you will vote. Try to know your polling station and you will vote. And those who voted in the palaces, that is chez le chef du quartier, or chef du village, there is no vote there again. They don't vote in those places again. All votes are in open public places. So go to ELECAM and find out to know your polling station before time. And by arriving there, you are going to get another new voter's card that is already ready there waiting for you. And they will direct you where your next polling station would look like. So the leadership of this nation, it is in the ballot box and nothing else. And nobody who wants to use his or her political manipulation should take advantage and do anything, because we are going to denouncing very well, and he will be taken care of.
All right, Mr. FONKA Samuel, once more, thank you for accepting to be on our set today. It's always a privilege to have you, leaving all what you have, and to honor our invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful viewers from far and near Africa, we want to say thank you for being with us this afternoon. And we are saying that if you missed on this edition, do not miss our rebroadcast, or you can follow us on our social media handles. You go to Facebook, you have Pan African Media TV. You go to Instagram, Pan African Media TV. You go to YouTube and all other social media handles. Follow us on Pan African Media TV. Until I come again on your way, I want to say a big thank you to the technicians behind the machines, Nasser and his team, for the beautiful images and the good sound quality, for taking out time every day. You sit behind there while we sit in front here to rattle and to see how we construct our continent and the world in general. Thank you for being us, and please take the rendezvous for Friday 11 a.m. to 12 noon until I come again your way. Ciao, ciao.